Maybe this will give you a new sort of image or view on buffalo as well. Look at the big five and how they came to be known by that name. Buffalo certainly put a big stamp on that term over the last century or two. Morning, guys. We come in peace. That guy on the far right there sort of looking at us over his nose. Just look at his body, look at his build. Reminds me of a solid Staffordshire Terrier or a arena bull. Very, very strong. His neck and his shoulders almost one big hunk of muscle. And his whole attitude just says, don't mess with me. Beautiful, beautiful bull. Look at that. And that oxpecker, watch the oxpecker carefully. It might even climb into the buffalo's ear.
Look at this guy here.
Oh yeah. Bull having a bit of a rub there. You can see all the insects just coming off him. And a scratch into that weeping wattle. I guess in this case we'll call it a bush. They do vary between bushes and trees, depending on how they're growing. Very grumpy looking guy coming in further left as well. So the antenna might be in the way.
Yeah, a little bit. You can have a look at him.
Again, very chunky bull this as well. Beautiful big condition. If you look at his flank, where the sun is just catching it, he's got lots of mud clotted on there, probably from yesterday. He had a good mud wallow. And he's quite a hairy buffalo, so that mud is just sticking onto him a bit longer than it would normally. Very different looking animals. Just take these two individuals. There's another one moves his head behind the other one. But if you start looking at a herd even, or the group like this, quite quickly see that they look extremely different. I mean, the facial structures even. The bull that's in the foreground now has got quite a long face. Compared to the guy at the back, it's got a much more compact face, a much more handsome buffalo to the right of the two. And if you start seeing some of the bigger herds as well, we often look at them, you quickly start discerning or seeing different bulls or different cows quite easily, maybe from obvious differences like a bent horn or a broken horn, or maybe a spectacular large set of horns, down to maybe a missing tail, and then just also facial features. You get some buffalo that are almost pretty, and you get some buffalo that are anything but pretty.
I wonder if they think the same thing about us, like, those people all look the same.
Yeah.
They can start to like recognize us.
Buffalo that are down in this area that see a lot of people will be like, well, they must be from Europe. Well, those look like they could be from Africa. Buffalo in the far northern reaches of Kruger, where they hardly ever see people, probably still run away from cars. Oxpecker's hopping around, just giving him a good check. I think this is probably my favorite bull in this group that we're looking at now. He's just in such incredible condition. I mean, he just looks like he's eating 24 eggs and 2 chickens a day and spending the rest of the time in the gym. Super solid. Also, quick look over to the right there. So I just saw a blue wildebeest come walking out there. It's one of those things that people occasionally visiting Africa confuse the two. Not a very clear look at this guy, but to see him a bit, you might look over at this impala making a noise. As you can see, a very similar color to buffalo, also sort of a grey, dark grey, black gunmetal color. Similar shaped horns as well, also curved, almost like sideways hooks, similar to buffalo. But a very differently shaped animal, much lighter in frame. Big bull like the one we looked at just now would weigh almost a ton, 1,000 kilograms, well over 2,000 pounds. Blue wildebeest only about 150 to 200 kilograms, about 400 pounds. So 20% the size of buffalo. But once you've seen both blue wildebeest and buffalo once, you shouldn't mistake them ever again. Buffalo have got a very specific feel to them, never mind the way they look. Just being in their presence, you get a sense of sort of sternness, unforgiving strength, and a whole lot of other words I can't think of. This buffalo just moving away. We're just going to move around. From the looks of it, we can just see one right down there at the head of the group at the moment. They're heading straight down to the Mati drainage line, which is way too thick for a car to get in. I'm just going to spend the last few minutes with them. You can never have enough of buffalo. One of those early memories of growing up in Africa. It's my father's favorite, or one of his favorite big animals. So obviously just having heard about them and seen them since I was a very little boy, they also hold a very special place for me. So we're going to just make the most of them. Maybe catch the last of this group as they cross the road, and then we'll continue on, see what else is out there. It's been a very, very good morning so far. Probably go down to the waterhole and see what's down there. All heading down to the drainage line, where it's probably because of the nice succulent grasses down there. A lot of guinea grass, one of your panicum grasses called buffalo grass, actually a blue buffalo grass. It's the areas they'll find it in. Really good grazing and good protein content, so that's where they're heading for. They'll fill those big stomachs up so that later in the day they can settle down somewhere and ruminate again. Amazing when you watch them walk like that. You also imagine they're quite fast runners. If they really get up to it, they can run well over 40 kilometers an hour, 50 kilometers an hour even. A lot faster than a human, weighing about almost the same as this Land Rover we're driving. So quite hard to imagine almost. The beautiful shadows there as well across the road. Still nice and early morning here. It's just coming up to 8 o'clock in South Africa. The sun is still nice and low on the